lovies, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be sharing with you ladies some tips on how you can better care for your hair when it's in a protective style, things that you can do before and things that you can do during the time that you have your protective style in. Okay, as you can see, I have my hair in some protective style. I have my hair in crochet braids. For those of you who didn't get a chance to check out that video, I'm going to have it up here in the iCards. You can check it out after this video. Okay, so without further ado, let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, tip number one is before you install your protective style, you want to make sure you prepare the foundation. And what I mean by that is you want to make sure you don't have any kind of hair issues. Your hair is not breaking, your hair is not excessively shedding, your hair is not dry, your ends don't need to be clipped. Before you throw this protective style in your hair, make sure you deal with all those issues before you do that. Because the minute you put that protective style in your hair, it can make the situation worse, okay? Don't think by you putting a protective style in your hair, it's gonna, fix the problem of you having the excessive shedding, the breakage, and the split ends and all of that. It's not gonna fix the problem. It's really gonna make it become progressively worse, okay? So make sure you deal with all of that before you actually throw your protective style in, okay? Tip number two is you wanna make sure you have a clean scalp. Make sure your hair is clean. Make sure your scalp is clean. Make sure your strands are actually strong enough to withstand this protective style that you're going to be putting in your hair. Okay, so I would suggest that you do a protein treatment before you actually put your protective style in. And don't do the protein treatment the day before you get your protective style done. You want to make sure you're doing this at least 2 to 3 weeks before you actually put your protective style in. This is going to really help your hair build up that resilience for that protective style and become stronger over time leading up to you doing your protective style. Okay. Tip number 3 is you want to make sure you use a moisturizing shampoo when you do actually wash your hair. Okay. Your hair is going to be lacking moisture throughout this time of you doing the protective style. Some people leave their protective styles in for 2 to 3 months. Throughout that time, your hair will become dry. A lot of people don't go in and moisturize their hair. They don't go in and actually wash their hair when the hair is in a protective style. But if you start out with your hair being moisturized before you put your protective style in, that gives you a good head start, okay? I wouldn't suggest you leave your protective styles in for very long. Normally, I leave my protective styles in for about 3 weeks to a month. I've seen people leave their protective styles in for 5 months. I personally think that's too long to leave a protective style in your hair, okay? But if it works for you, then it works for you, okay? But try to make sure you're moisturizing your hair while it's in that protective style. Make sure you're caring for your scalp. Make sure your scalp is nice and clean, free of dirt, free of debris and all of that stuff. You also want to make sure you're actually checking your scalp before you put your protective style in. Make sure you don't have cuts. Make sure you don't have scrapes. Make sure you don't have scabs and all of that before you put your protective style in. You want to start out with a nice, clean, blank slate with your hair being in a healthy state, okay, before you do your protective style. Tip number 4 is when you're installing your protective style, make sure you're not installing it tight, okay? A lot of people like to braid super tight. When you go to different hairstylists, they might be very heavy-handed and they like to braid super tight. All that's going to do is destroy your hair, okay? You're going to be pulling your hair out from the follicles, all right? We're trying to grow our hair. The whole point of a protective style is to protect your hair, 1. 2, to give your hair a break from all the manipulation, all the tension, and all the handling and all of that, right? And we're trying to actually stretch maybe our relaxers or just give our hair a break overall so our hair could begin to grow in the way that we want it to actually grow in. But if you're pulling your hair super tight, you're pulling your hair out. So it defeats the purpose of you even having a protective style. We're trying to grow our hair. We're not trying to pull our hair out, okay? Tip number 5 is when it's time for you to actually do your takedown, you want to make sure you have time to take your hair down. Make sure you're in a good mood. Make sure you're taking your hair down with care, okay? Take your time. Use something to take your hair down with, okay? So you want to make sure you're using some kind of oil. You want to make sure you're using some kind of conditioner, water, something that you could spritz on your hair when you're unraveling your braids, especially if you have like box braids, okay? If you're tired, don't take your hair down. Wait till the next day to actually go in and take it down. Put your hair in sections. Take down this section today and take down this section tomorrow. I would advise you to take your hair down by yourself. A lot of people like to ask their cousin or their husband or their friends to help them take their hair down. But not everybody's going to handle your hair with care. Not everybody is going to, take down the braids with patience and with kindness and gently and stuff like that. So make sure you're able to have enough time to take down your hair yourself. There's some people who actually go and pay braiders and stylists to actually take their braids out because they don't want to take their own braids out. But these people may be rushing to get the next client in, and they're there and they want to cut the braid in half. They don't know you. They don't know the length of your hair, but they're taking these scissors and they're chopping the braid because they want to rush the process of actually getting the braid out of your hair. And then they're tearing your hair, they're ripping your hair, they're breaking your hair, they're cutting your hair off. All of this stuff is going on. My advice to you would be to just do it yourself. Take time out whenever you can to take your braids down. Use some kind of oil or conditioner, leave-in conditioner or something to take it down. So you'll have that glide, you'll have that slip, and the braids can come out easily, okay? So those are my 5 tips. I hope that they help you. If you have any questions, you can leave it down below. If you're interested in knowing what hair this is, how I installed it, and all that good stuff, check out this video right here in the iCard. It's either here or here, but I think it's right here in the iCard. Check out my playlist that's going to pop up at the end of this video. And until we meet again, be blessed, and I love you with the love of Christ. Bye.